Actually, put a finger down if you ever spent the year 2017 telling anybody with ears about this girl that you seen a clip of on Twitter named Megan Thee Stallion that was a rapper from Houston, Texas. And then fast forward to 2025, you moved to Houston, Texas or whatever. And so then you met her in like June or July and she gave you 2 bottles of her liquor that she started, the little tequila brand. And she had told you that you was tall and thick and chocolate and fine. And then not to mention, last week you got to go to Hottie Wing in the city of Houston. So you got to be up and close and personal with her for a second time in less than a year, in less than 6 months. And now you can proudly say that every person you know that know her is because they know her because of you. I'm back, you back, we back. Just like a smile, you already know. It's me, your girl P, your favorite bitch, and your favorite witch. Girl, it's been time, it's been time, it's been time. So you already know what it is. Rundown. Piece for pieces. For one, we're going to start off with Hottie Wing. Hottie Wing was everything that it needed to be. I had an amazing time. The lines was fast. The food was good. I was able to get liquor. I was able to get drunk. Everybody was having a good time, behaving when my wife came out there and was mingling and stuff. Like, it was just, 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. But yeah, we're going to start with that for P's first favorite piece. And then the second thing I want to talk about is the Young Boy show. That was lit. He brought out so many people. Mexican OT, Shy Glizzy, Mona Leo, Stunner for Vegas, and Moneybag Yo. Like, it was an entirely different show from the first show. Different set lists, different outfits. I mean, clearly he was going to have a different outfit, but the dancers had on different outfits too. Like, it was bomb. So, that's what I want to talk about for the second piece, favorite piece. And I only solely went to the second show to hear Free D-Dog. Once I seen that he put that on the set list, I'm like, that's one of my favorite Young Boy songs. Like, I gotta go see that. So I went back to see that, and I got to see some other stuff and some other people, so that was great. The other thing I want to do for Pete's favorite piece is my little Dollar Tree find. So I found this stuff called Hydrating Gel Cream at the Dollar Tree when I was in North Carolina for homecoming, period. Of course, I also got to mention homecoming for Pete's favorite pieces, but we'll get into that. So this is like a facial little gel cream, and I really like it. Very lightweight. It mixes very, very well with my makeup primer, so it just really be like it just make you feel like supple and like hydrated. So I really like it. And so it says strawberry seed oil, lotus flower, and vitamin B5. And it's by Postscriptum. I got some other stuff by Postscriptum. So I really like that brand. I really like the Spa Centrals brand too from Dollar Tree. So you already know I had to, rack up on those because I ain't never seen those in Texas. So yeah. And then the last thing we're gonna talk about for real, this is the last thing for real this time. Homecoming. Owes me Nathaniels. Owes me nothing. Like, I love y'all so much. I love when I get to come home and see y'all and just be turning up, be lit, just be eating food at the tailgate, just stumbling through the parking lot, seeing this person that, Shout out to Alumni Collective because it did everything it was supposed to do. And as always, we can't wait till next year. Questions that need answers. I wrote the script a while ago, and I was going to ask y'all, is you ready for daylight savings? But baby, it's already here. That was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Or it might be today. One of them. But I hope you're ready for daylight savings because it's here. So that's the questions that need answers. What pissed me off today, we're going to get into the Cash Money No Limit verses. And it was so funny on Twitter when Master P did Free Coast. And everybody was like, oh my God, that's what Future got it from. That was crazy to me because if you know me personally, I love Percy Miller down. Okay? I love Master P so bad. And then one of my other favorite things is that a lot of people I feel like don't know, Q.T.N.A, she got a song called I Love a Freak. And she actually samples the Master P version of Freak Ho. So yeah, I love Q.T.N.A. I love that shit. When I heard the song, I'm like, oh, she sampled like the actual Master P joint, like, period. And then another little honorable mention I want to give a shout out to my girl Mia X. I love Mia X, the biggest Mama Mia ever to do it. And to this day, I'm still pissed that we didn't get it. Was like, I'm supposed to be in the music business. I'm supposed to be in like the tour business. I'm supposed to be in some kind of like entertainment situation because how did we never get a crossover, even if it wasn't like music, even if it was like little cameos in a video? How we didn't get a cross-up of Salt and Pepper? I'll take your man, right? City Girls. I'll take your man, right? Mia X, I'll take your man. Like, how did that never happen with Salt and Pepper, the City Girls, and Mia X? Like, somebody in A&R, somebody in marketing, somebody in something dropped the ball. A buffer bar this week. I just want to give a big shout out to the album V. No skip. Shout out to my girl Doja. I love that she pulled a Gaga and was getting her French on the track. You know, Gaga love to speak a little French on a track. So that was fine. I really like Lip Stain, and I really like Couple Therapy, and I really like, it's just, I love the whole album, no skips, period. And then I also want to give a shout out to Hallie's album. I think what's the song I like? Alone. I really like that song a lot. So that's this week's bar for bar. Conscious Cunt, again, I told y'all I wrote the script a while ago. I just haven't dedicated time to sit down and record. But October was Hoodoo Heritage Month. And then it also was like Family Ancestral Month or something like that, or Family History Month or something like that. So you know, I'm a big spooky season girl, so it was Halloween too, so that was lit. But you know, just ask the questions to your elders while they're alive about who's who, what was what, how you get here, how they got here, what was the experiences like. So you can have those stories and pass those down to your children, because as Black people, oration is one of our close-knit practices, because it's how we keep things alive. All right, and now for the rundown of our favorite segment of hashtag I cannot make this shit up. All right, boom, we're gonna go back and we're gonna come forward. Right. October the 13th through November the 6th, the astrological sign Libra did move into the planet of Venus. And Venus and Libra just gives like double checklist. Everything is fully stocked, everything's fully prepared, everything's ready, because like it looks good and it feels good. And the other thing I want to mention is the sign Libra is at home in the sign of Venus, because the planet Venus is ruled by the sign Libra. Well, flip it. The sign Libra is ruled by the planet Venus. So it's at home in that transit. So it's like a return to grace. And like I said, everything look good and it feel good, because Venus is the branding. It's the image. It's the presentation. And Libra is the feeling. It is the bare bones of it, the meat and potatoes of it all. And like I said, it's the checklist, so it allows you to open your life for more accountability, so that you can understand what you have and what you don't have, because you can't operate without the things that you need if you don't have them. And then also, like, Venus and Libra is just like love, lovey-dovey, like very cutesy. I don't know, like meet cute, very like, it just gives like lovey-dovey. I don't know. Because like I said, you know, the sign Libra is at home in Venus. So with that, I want you to also be aware of things that are like attraction, and then things that are like actual tangible compatibility, because those things are different. And that's something that I struggle with often. So that's me preaching to the choir. And then the other thing I want to bring to that is, to me, those are the same things about like you wanting something and then you manifesting it, right? It's not the same, but they relate. We had the last full moon in Aries, that was on October the 7th. If you let things really come fully to light and you let things really play out, then you would have understood like, okay, this is in the light and I can see what's happening, so let's go ahead and remove that. So if you would have let it play out, you should have had something that was ready to fall out, right? It was the fall from grace at that point, because that thing isn't in favor, so we aren't being gracious towards it, so it gotta go. Because like I said, the Venus in Libra is a return to grace. It's a return to home. But Libra can fake be like meticulous and perfectionist-y, kind of very similar like Virgo sometimes. So in a way of always wanting things to be perfect and ideal. And sometimes that's not always tangible, so you have to stay rational and not so focused on the ideal. So that would have been a good time to do like mirror work. I love mirror work, shadow work, because we're also in Scorpio season, but we're going to get into that very soon. And then also like, this is my first time talking about this on this channel, but like sex magic. So like, my girl Juju, I think it's Juju, right? I'm almost sure Juju says it, but don't let no like orgasms go to waste. You always should be manifesting something when you are orgasming, specifically as a woman, specifically with self-provided orgasms. So don't let them go to waste. You know, start manifesting the things that you want and visualizing and understanding, because that opens a portal for like if you feel unhuman for a second there, right? So yeah. Also on the 13th, the planet Pluto went out of its retrograde and it stationed direct in the sign of Aquarius. And with Pluto being the planet of transition, transformation, and Aquarius being the planet of, the rebel, it's like I always say, new shit, new shit, new shit, new shit. Like, I almost think that might be Butt Cheeks by UEB. And because every time I make that reference on this channel of what go-go song that is, I can never remember it. And then randomly just out in life, I remember what it is. But anyhow, we're not here to talk about that. The last thing I want to talk about with Venus and Libra is the lovey-dovey-dovey stuff is, be aware of how you date and maybe approach it with a process to date different, right? So maybe if you're the kind of person that dates from 100, you should flip it and date from 0. Or if you're the kind of person that dates from 0, you should flip it and date from 100. So on October 21st, we had a new moon in Libra that just further backs up the lovey-dovey-dovey stuff that I was saying. It's just like, it just gives like just cuddly, just energy. Like, I don't even know how I'm trying to describe it, but yeah. So remember I was talking about like the sex magic thing and manifesting with your orgasms. That's the time that you should call in your deepest, most wanted desires. Like, and then you can double down on it to do the sex magic with your orgasms with mirror work. And you can masturbate in front of a mirror to speak the things that you want and have them like returned back to you. Or to even just be able to visualize yourself and see yourself. So it's time for you to really call in your deepest desires, the way that you want to be desired, the way that you want to be loved, the way that you want to feel all cuddly with somebody, not just the person, but the way that you want the person to show up, the things that are your non-negotiables and stuff like that. Because the best way to do that is to learn to love and be of service of yourself first so that then it can just be mirrored back to you. And I know that sounds so fucking cliche, but like people really do not love themselves. And I don't know what else to say about that. Also on October the 21st, we did enter the Mercury retrograde shadow period. So, that kind of slowly but surely gives you the announcement that, hey, the Mercury retrograde is on the way. So with that, I'm gonna just say all the regular stuff, the technology stuff, check your text message emails, double think things, check who you sending stuff to. Don't be sending the wrong stuff to people and all that. But more than anything, what I'm gonna say with the Mercury retrograde is just trust your gut feeling. We ain't even in the retrograde yet, so we're going to talk way more into that once we get there. And so on October 22nd, the planet Neptune did move into the astrological sign of Pisces. And that's just like a double whammy because Neptune is like the planet of like dreams and illusions. And Pisces is like the sign of illusion, delusion, and just like dreams and hopes and fantasies. So like that's a double whammy. So it's time for you to really understand what is okay to fantasize and be delusional about and what is absolutely not okay that you need to 100% stand on business and be serious about. Really lock in and understand that. It's very like fact versus fiction. If you're familiar with your chart, you should look at like but what is in Pisces in your chart, if you have any signs or any houses, anything like that, and really try to understand the way that fact and fiction delusion is trying to play out in your life. On October 22nd, also officially started Scorpio season. Shout out to all the Scorpios out there. Happy birthday to y'all. So with the, Scorpio season started, it is a start of intensity. And then with the whole Neptune and Pisces thing, that's time for you to be aware and have your boundaries defined so that you can have a strategy and plan to understand what's real, what's fake, what's fact, what's fiction. And the last time that Neptune was in Pisces, it was April of 2011. So think about how you have become more blank since then. More stable, more learned, more traveled, more educated, more hydrated. Like how have you become more evolved, more seen, more heard? Like how have things changed since 2011 in April to now with the whole Neptune returning about the Pisces thing? So like I said earlier, we were talking about the Scorpio season shadow work thing. So Scorpio is just like the the underworld, the unspoken, the quiet and mystique, and the mysterious. It's the shadow. And so usually like the shadow are the things that you are avoiding, the things that make you feel like less of a person, the things that you don't like about yourself, or the things that you don't feel comfortable with about your life or your experience. So what are those things that you're avoiding and running away from? Because that is the shadow. And once you identify those things, you should do your best to address them, because I feel that when you operate from a space of avoiding the shadow, you kind of put yourself in the shadow anyways. So it allows people to meet you in that same space, even though that's not where you want to be. That's not where you're comfortable with. That's not what makes you feel like the best you. Don't make your, don't weaken your attractability and your pull and your strength by being avoidant. And then another thing to think about is like, you know, what are your invisible control tactics that you have? Like for me, if for example, I had to do this thing where I set a fake clock. Like, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to do this. From this time to this time, I'm going to do this. And when people don't fall in line with the fake time that I've already decided, it makes me freak the fuck out. And I'm just like, you could have just not made that up in the first place. But there's that. On October 29th, the planet Mercury did move into the sign of Sagittarius. So with Mercury being the translator and then Sagittarius being the educator, it's just like say what you mean and mean what you say, but like nothing's ever that deep or like that serious. But the things that are serious are that relates to, you know, what I said earlier about what is fact and what is fiction. So stand on business, but you don't have to be like, you know, cutthroat about it because it's never that deep. And sometimes you should do things for the plot. Because you have free will and you shouldn't feel no guilt about it. Because I feel like that's also a part of accountability, if that makes sense. On November the 4th, the planet Mars did also move into the sign of Sagittarius. So it returns to what feels like ease. Many episodes ago, I talked about, you know, this thing called effort versus ease. What feels like ease? And not only that, relating to experiences that you were having back in March of 2025. What were you experiencing and what was shifted, what was changed that made you be like, you know what? No more. I'm not doing that because that doesn't feel like ease to me. Go back to that. Remind yourself of that because you deserve that. On November the 5th, we did have a super full moon in the sign of Taurus. And again, to me, that just gives, you know, fully like lush vibes. So the super full moon in Taurus is going to ignite and alight the things about like your sense of self and your value and your image and your branding. Like we was talking about earlier with the Libra and Venus thing. Venus is the brand. Venus is how it looks, how it's presented. And so with the full moon in Taurus and Taurus being ruled by the planet Venus, that's the message of that. What's do you know how you feel about your worth and your value? Because those are different things. And then also back to, you know, when I'm saying people don't love themselves, you have to approach self-love in a way that is sustainable, in a way that is providing you sustenance at the same time. And on November the 6th, the planet Venus did move into the sign of Scorpio. And like I said, Scorpio is that intense emotional clarity. So relating back to what I said, calling in and attracting in those deepest desires, those deepest wants, those deeper cravings, and that want for an irrevocable intimacy, if you will, right? And another thing that the full moon and, you know, I feel like Venus and Scorpio are tag teaming to do is the full moon is aligning the Venus and Scorpio things at the same time. So with that, it's showing you the ways that you withhold intimacy from yourself by operating out of that shadow place. And so people are meeting you in that shadow place. And so you are denying yourself of things that you know you deserve and not only that need. Like I said, on October 29th, the planet Mercury did move into the astrological sign of Scorpio. So with that, Mercury and Sag, or Sag and Mercury is in its detriment there. So it does not do well there. So it's just like, all right, buckle up, buttercup, because something is about to go haywire, but I'm not really sure what, because I'm not really going to know if I'm understanding what's happening all the time. And that's fine. Like I said, sometimes you got to do it for the plot without no guilt, because sometimes you might not fully understand what really is all happening at once. But you can, I feel, always identify clarity and then chaos and be able to compartmentalize those two things. But with Mercury and Sag, and Mercury being, you know, the translator, and then Sagittarius being the educator, it can get lost in translation. Because what if you're using a bunch of jargon and a bunch of words that I don't understand? I don't even know what you're saying. So even if you don't always know what's going on, let it play out. Tie up loose ends when they are uncovered to you, however they come. You could be like, oh, I meant to do that, and I ain't even like that kind of energy. And just revisit, like I said, March of 2025, what felt like ease. Think about your journey since then, your life since then, your path since then. What's changed, what's the same, what's improved. Have you completely wiped the path and rerouted to a new journey, a new start in place, a new, like, what is given? Because like I said, we're in Scorpio season, so go deep or go home, period. Because when you're vulnerable and when you're honest, that isn't admitting defeat. or showing weakness. And that's something that I really did not understand for a very long time. Mistakes is lessons, not losses. So just keep that in mind. So when things resurface and things, you just like, damn, I just keep, because you're not learning the lesson. Somebody not doing the math right. What Mona said, you're not learning the lesson. And that's okay. Because sometimes you got to keep taking the test on the lesson. But learn the lesson eventually. You should make decisions that affect your long term, make those slow. So that then that way you welcome in flow. Because when you fully think about things, it allows you to not have to be rushing to the next thing. Because bought yourself some time because you really, really thought about this. What Kevin Gates say, everything that's fast don't last. And everything that's slow is a go. Yeah. Automate your life. Build sustainable and stable practices of self-love. It was a Beaver super full moon in Taurus on 5th. So when I think about that, I just think about the way that beavers build dams. That shit looks insane. And it just looks like a bunch of bullshit, but it's very, very structural. And you know that I like to talk about life as a house. Revisit your foundation and figure out what's going on. Is it still stable? Has some hurricanes come and made shit a little shaky? What's going on? Revisit the foundation. Because when you have a strong foundation, you have a strong house. And then you always have to put the foundation up first. Some of y'all motherfuckers want to put up walls and ceilings and roofs and shit. And ain't nothing. And the house is going to crumble. We're going to start over. Start over. Start over. Start over. So build ground. Things that are effortless, things that are pleasurable, things that bring you peace, and just really, change your practices and principles. And more than anything, with this extra hour of sleep we got, bitch, you better be sleeping so bad. Because I know you've been ripping and running and running and ripping and doing this and that and that and this and that. And life done gave you an extra hour. And look at you, still ain't doing it. Take your ass to bed. That's all I got. That was the rundown, girl. It was long. I know it was a lot. But it was a lot of good info in there. So thank you for staying. Thank you for coming. Make sure you come back. We back. Next week is going to be our last episode of season 4. Crazy. Yeah, you know how we get an episode? Bitches be mad because they be here. Bitches be here because they be mad. Bye, y'all.